Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop? Like you're constantly haunted by regrets from the past and overwhelmed with worries about what's yet to come? Even when you're physically still, your mind is racing with memories, what ifs, and anxieties. It drains your energy. It steals your sleep. It takes away your smile. But what if the peace you've been chasing isn't somewhere far away? What if it's already inside you, hidden beneath the noise? Let me tell you a story that might sound simple, yet carries a truth deep enough to change a life. There once was a young man named Marco. He lived in a small village tucked between mountains and forests, a place where the outside world felt distant. Yet inside Marco's mind, a storm raged constantly. He was 24 years old, an age full of possibilities, yet for him, full of pressure. His thoughts never stopped. From sunrise to sunset, and even in his dreams, Marco wrestled with memories he wished he could forget and fears of a future he couldn't predict. His friends called him restless. His parents said he was too serious, but no one truly knew the turmoil he carried within. He couldn't sleep. He forgot what it meant to laugh freely. He wasn't living, he was surviving, one anxious thought at a time. One morning, while sitting by the river trying to distract himself with the sound of flowing water, Marco overheard two travelers speaking. They spoke of a man, an old sage who lived far away in the hills. A man who was once a renowned psychologist in the city, but had left behind the chaos of modern life to live in peace, close to nature. He doesn't speak much, one traveler said, but people say that just a few words from him can calm your soul. For the first time in months, Marco felt something flicker inside hope. I must find him, he thought. If anyone can help me silence this storm inside, it must be him. So with nothing but a small bag and determination in his eyes, Marco set off on a journey that would take him days through rocky paths, winding trails, and forests that whispered ancient wisdom. When Marco finally reached the village, it was nearly sunset. The light bathed everything in a golden glow. Birds soared across the sky. The village was quiet, almost sacred in its stillness. At the edge of the forest stood a small wooden house covered in vines. On the porch sat an elderly man, eyes closed, breathing slowly as if the entire universe moved in sync with him. Marco approached, hesitated, then gently spoke, "Grandfather, my mind is a mess. I can't stop thinking. I feel tired all the time. I feel like I'm drowning in my own thoughts. Can you help me find peace?" The old man opened his eyes. They were calm, deep, like still water. He smiled faintly and said, "If you truly seek peace, come with me. I have a small task for you." He led Marco to a small yard behind the house. From a clay pitcher, he poured water into a glass. Carefully, he filled it all the way to the brim, not a drop less. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Walk to the end of this village and return here. But listen carefully. Not a single drop must spill. Not one." Marco looked puzzled, but nodded. If this was the path to peace, he was ready to walk it literally. With both hands, he held the glass close to his chest and began walking. The road was uneven. Children ran and played. Merchants called out. Dogs barked. Life happened all around him, loud, messy, unpredictable. But Marco kept his eyes only on the glass. Every step was measured, every movement cautious. His mind was consumed by one goal: don't spill the water. Villagers looked at him curiously, but no one disturbed him. Minutes passed, and eventually Marco returned exhausted, but proud. He handed the glass, still full, back to the old man. "I did it. Not a drop spilled." The old man smiled. "Good. Now tell me, did you see the children playing? Did you hear the dogs barking? Did you notice the birds flying overhead?" Marco shook his head, surprised. "No, I didn't notice anything. I was only focused on the glass." The old man chuckled softly and said, "That, my child, is the peace you are searching for. For a moment, your mind was completely present. You weren't haunted by the past or worried about the future. You had one task, one focus, one moment, and in that, you were free." Marco stood in silence. Something inside him shifted. He realized his suffering wasn't coming from his life itself, but from the way his mind kept pulling him away from it. While his body was in the present, his thoughts were elsewhere. He was replaying old pain, predicting new fear, and in doing so he missed life altogether. The water in the glass was his mind, and the act of holding it steady was mindfulness. This story may seem simple, but what it teaches is timeless. Let's reflect. Have you ever tried reading a book only to realize you've turned 3 pages without absorbing a single word? Or gone on vacation, taken photos, posted them online, and yet felt just as stressed as you were back home? We live in a world of constant noise notifications, opinions, deadlines, memories, plans. But peace isn't found in silence. It's found in focus, in being fully alive to this moment. Take these examples. Thich Nhat Hanh, a great Zen master, once said, "The present moment is the only moment we have." Athletes in flow, artists in their zone, musicians lost in a note they're not thinking of yesterday or tomorrow. They're here, fully, and that's why their work shines. You don't need a mountain retreat or ancient wisdom to start this. You just need to do one thing. Give your full attention to what you're doing right now. Whether it's washing dishes, walking your dog, or talking to your loved one, be there. That's how you hold the water without spilling. The sun dipped lower behind the hills. Shadows grew longer. Marco bowed his head deeply. Now I understand. If I want peace, I don't need to fix my past. I don't need to control the future. I just need to return again and again to this moment. The old man simply nodded, his eyes full of quiet knowing. As Marco walked away from the little house in the hills, he wasn't the same restless young man who had arrived. The path was the same, the village was the same, but Marco had changed. Inside him, for the first time in years, there was stillness, there was space, there was peace. Peace is not something we find out there. It's not in a book, a guru, a retreat. It's already within you. You only need to empty your mind so that peace can fill the space. Next time you feel overwhelmed, try this. Close your eyes, breathe, focus on one simple thing, your breath, your steps, your coffee cup, and let the noise fade away. Because life doesn't happen in your thoughts, it happens now. Thank you for staying with us. If this story moved you, please like, share it with someone who needs peace, and subscribe for more soul-stirring stories. Until next time, stay present, stay peaceful.